Right. Sorry, it just went away from me. I need my notes. So I am excited to be here as Xcel Energy's newest community relations manager. I joined just 3 months ago, as Lee said, and it's been quite a ride already. I have much to learn. They tell me it takes up to 2 years to 5 years to really understand everything and be very literate in the company. So, but I'm excited to be here to talk about what's going on with our clean energy future. And there are more than 60 just customer programs alone. So I'm not really going to be able to cover all of the programs. I would like to talk about how we're getting to a clean energy future, what we're doing to reach those goals, and then also where we're at today. And then you can ask specific questions about programs as well. But I know the website has quite a few rabbit holes you can go down with specific programs as well. Just a little bit about me. I came to Xcel Energy after working nearly 15 years as Visit Mankato's president here in town, and also serving as a leader within Greater Mankato Growth, which is the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Corporation, and with the City Center Partnership. So my whole career was really about attracting visitors and new residents to this community through travel and tourism, economic development activities. And my proudest legacy is the Mankato Marathon. Hopefully you're all aware of the Mankato Marathon, but that's what I'm most proud of bringing to this community. And now that I'm an Xcel employee, I hope to run this fall. But now in my role as a community relations manager, I am kind of servicing South Central, Southwestern Minnesota, 74 communities, 17 counties, and I get to work with several organizations across that footprint, such as yours. So that's an exciting venture for me. And I look forward to working with all of you in meeting Xcel Energy's mission to provide clean, safe, and reliable energy at a competitive price. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into kind of just a high-level overview of kind of Xcel Energy's footprint. You can see here we serve about 8 states in the US, and you can see our electricity and natural gas customers are in the millions. But we are the first US energy provider to announce our vision to provide carbon-free electricity by 2050 from both the power we produce and the power we purchase from others. You'll hear me mention this goal over and over again through the presentation. And so if you were to be quizzed, I hope you would all ace the test on what that goal is. But we've been a national leader in wind energy since 2005. Since the early 1990s, we've supported energy efficiency and offer leading portfolio programs with options for all types of our customers. We've led the industry in emissions reduction efforts from generating plants, helping our states meet their clean energy requirements. And we have several leading demonstrations and pilots underway looking at advanced technologies. And also, every day, providing the power we all need. Our work restoration power after storms has been recognized as among the best in the industry. And after 3 short months here and watching the escalated ops when those storms came through in May and even just through South Dakota earlier this week, it is just amazing watching this company go into action to get everybody restored as quickly and as safely as possible. Xcel Energy is a founding member of the Climate Registry, and our annual greenhouse gas reporting is third-party verified going back to 2005, making us the only power company with this length of consecutive verified data. Our reporting follows the climate industry's electric power sector protocol, which aligns with the World Resources Institute and ISO 14000 series standards. And so I'll just say again, if you go to xcelenergy.com, you can go down all kinds of rabbit holes, find all kinds of reports, and really look at the data, the science behind all of the efforts that we have to get to a clean energy future. This slide here is just a quick shot of the footprint in Minnesota and the Minnesota customers that we have in electric and gas, and also a really spectacular reliability record with 99.9% reliability. In 2020, Xcel Energy received the Climate Leadership Award at the annual Climate Leadership Conference, which is North America's premier event dedicated to addressing the climate crisis through policy, innovation, and business solutions. The conference is hosted by the Center for Climate and Energy Solutions and the Climate Registry. It brings together forward-thinking leaders from business, government, academia, and nonprofit communities to explore energy and climate solutions and opportunities and to showcase climate leadership. Xcel Energy was recognized for organizational leadership for the following reasons. We set an industry-leading interim goal to reduce carbon emissions by 80% from 2005 to 2030 from the electricity that serves our customers, and with an aspiration to provide customers with 100% carbon-free electricity by 2050. As I said, Xcel Energy was the first major electricity utility provider to announce such a goal. And since then, since that announcement in December 2018, a dozen utility companies have followed with similar goals. So the domino effect is happening here. We are engaging with communities to help them achieve their clean energy and climate goals by working to identify future energy goals and to develop strategic plans through our Partners in Energy program, which this council, I think, is very familiar with and supportive of, and we're grateful for that. We also work with communities through New Energy Future collaborations, which aim to address local priorities, including how to best advance specific carbon and renewable energy targets, reduce a city's carbon footprint, maximize conservation programs, and integrate emerging energy-related technologies into their homes and businesses. We are investing in low carbon transportation through a portfolio of innovative initiatives and pilot programs. And I'll talk about the electrification of transportation here in a little bit. And then finally, for folks who do like to see the science, we've published a special carbon report that outlines the company's path to achieving carbon reduction goals. The report provides an in-depth scientific analysis of our reduction initiative, which at the time was an industry first for this type of study, actually. Internationally recognized modeling experts studied Xcel Energy's goals and confirmed they are consistent with electric sector emission trajectories, likely to meet the temperature goals of the Paris Climate Agreement. So the greatest environmental contribution we can make is to serve customers with cleaner energy. Carbon dioxide from producing electricity makes up the majority of the greenhouse emissions from our operations community-wide or company-wide. And that's why delivering electricity with zero carbon emissions by 2050 is the cornerstone of our clean energy vision. In fact, we've been pursuing this successful strategy to transition to the clean energy for the past decade already. While we're implementing those strategies, though, at a pace that transitions to clean energy sources as quickly as possible, it's a priority to maintain service reliability, empowering our customers to provide choices that meet their evolving needs and interests, which was what Lee was talking about, is trying to get that empowerment in the hands of all of us as customers, make it easy to do business with us so that it's easy to implement those practices, and then keeping customer energy bills affordable. That's key to us. Just a high level, Xcel Energy is the only major US energy provider to announce a comprehensive vision with aggressive goals for reducing greenhouse gas emissions across the three large sectors of the economy: electricity, natural gas use in buildings, and transportation. So I just have some specifics now that I'll move into. In 2021, we announced a net zero vision for our natural gas business, aiming to provide customers with reliable and affordable natural gas and building energy services that have net zero emissions by 2050. Again, that goal by 2050. In order to get there, it's important that our customers and our natural gas suppliers join us and participate in reducing those emissions. One thing that's everyone should know is that we depend on the suppliers of natural gas that we deliver to customers. And while we have no direct control over their activities, we can use our purchasing power to move them toward improved transparency and lower methane emissions. So we plan to purchase only certified low emission natural gas from suppliers by 2030. And last year, 2021, we began taking steps toward that goal by asking our suppliers to provide information on methane intensities, as well as their use of best practices for reducing emissions. The clean energy transition for natural gas starts with our own system, where we have, already made significant progress reducing methane emissions. We plan to enhance our emission detection, accelerate repair work, improve reporting, and continue making operational improvements. So far, our current progress includes joining the EPA's Natural Gas STAR program in 2008. You may be familiar with that, to voluntarily reduce methane emissions. We continue to maintain a methane emission rate below 0.22% for our system, which is actually low for the industry. In 2016, we became a member of the EPA's Methane Challenge and pledged to reduce the venting of pipelines by at least half during the scheduled natural gas construction projects. We surpassed that pledge over the past 3 years and reduced the venting of methane by an average of 83%. Over the next 5 years, we plan to invest more than $1.1 billion in projects that tighten and improve our system, helping maintain safety and reducing methane emissions. To date, we have replaced all cast iron and nearly all the bare steel pipe in our system with improved plastic and protected steel pipe. We engage in industry collaborations that promote transparent reporting and best practices for reducing emissions from natural gas. And for our customers, we are expanding energy efficiency programs, and that's where those 60 programs are part of that portfolio right now. And I wish I could cover those with you today, but they're certainly online, or if you have specific questions about those, you can reach me directly as well. But we're piloting also new voluntary programs that encourage the use of electric appliances and low carbon gas alternatives. So about 85% of Xcel Energy's customers depend on natural gas for heating their homes and businesses. And it's reliable, affordable fuel, especially in the colder climates that we serve. So natural gas is an important component of our energy mix. While the natural gas system continues to grow and we deliver more natural gas to new customers, individual customers have actually reduced their natural gas consumption nearly 20% since 2000 through more efficient appliances, better building practices, and our new extensive portfolio of conservation programs. We plan to offer new voluntary programs to further help customers reduce carbon emissions from their natural gas use, included expanding conservation programs. So we're starting to pilot multiple options. You'll hear more about those as time goes on, but including smart electric water heaters, all electric new building developments, and electric air source heat pumps for cooling and heating, combined with natural gas furnaces for backup heating. We also plan to launch a renewable natural gas pilot similar to the voluntary wind and solar programs we offer, and are exploring testing both hydrogen production and hydrogen blending in our natural gas distribution system. So beyond our operations, clean electricity can power a cleaner economy, and it starts with transportation, the country's largest source of carbon emissions. So we are using our clean energy leadership to support transportation electrification. With EVs primed for widespread adoption, our lower carbon electricity can reduce emissions from the transportation sector while driving electricity sales growth and helping keep bills low for customers. We set an aggressive goal to power 1.5 million electric vehicles by 2030, which means EVs will make up approximately 20% of all of the vehicles on the road, and approximately 30 times the number of EVs currently in our states by the end of the decade. We are also leading the way in our own vehicle fleet. We plan to electrify all sedans in our fleet by 2023 and all light duty vehicles and 30% of medium and heavy duty vehicles by 2030. Our plans for connecting customers to EVs include optimizing the use of the power grid by offering special rates and programs options that encourage vehicle charging during off-peak and low-cost time periods, encouraging vehicle adoption with programs and services that provide an excellent customer experience and make it more affordable and convenient and easier to charge electric vehicles. Everyone wants to know where they can get that charge so they can not be stuck on the roadside somewhere, right? And then serving as a trusted energy advisor and connecting customers with information and resources through our industry and other partnerships. Interesting stat, an electric vehicle powered with Xcel Energy electricity in 2021 was 58% cleaner than a conventional gasoline powered vehicle and is expected to be 84% cleaner by 2030 under our clean energy plans for electricity. Besides the environmental benefits, EVs can save customers money because they're less expensive to drive, costing about an average of $1 per gallon of gasoline to fuel and requiring no oil changes and limited maintenance. And just something really important I want to note is that equity is a key component of our electric transportation vision. We are designing programs that include expanded or enhanced options for income qualified customers, which help make the transition to EVs more accessible and affordable for everyone. Whether they own an EV, take mass transit, or benefit from improved air quality, all people in the community we serve should experience benefits of electric transportation. So let's go just a little bit deeper into our path to 80% reduction by 2030. In the coming years, we anticipate adding thousands of megawatts of new wind and solar energy to the grid. We are incorporating both natural gas and storage resources to help balance those high levels of renewables. And we continue to rely on our carbon-free nuclear plants, including extending the generation of the plant in Monticello by additional 10 years going out to 2040. We are retiring additional coal units or changing their operations to minimize emissions affordably and reliably. So all coal plants in the Midwest will be retired by the end of 2030. We are building on our successful energy efficiency programs to help customers respond or save energy and money, and working with them on new demand response options to manage our energy load. And then supporting strategic electrification, as I had mentioned, for certain end users to further reduce emissions and other areas of the economy. And finally, transmission. Making critical investments in supportive infrastructure is a priority. New transmission infrastructure would connect more clean energy to the grid, reusing important grid connections near our coal plants as they close, and that will help us ensure reliable service for our customers. Xcel Energy and the industry at large are achieving significant emission reductions with the renewable and storage technologies available today, but those technologies can only go so far. Achieving our net zero emission commitment by 2050 and going so reliably and affordably for our customers requires new clean energy technologies that are not yet available at the cost and scale that are needed. And these carbon-free technologies need to be dispatchable, meaning available anytime, 24/7, to maintain system reliability while operating high levels of variable wind and solar energy resources. Those are not constant, especially up here in the northern parts of the country. New carbon-free dispatchable technologies on the horizon include this list that you see here on the screen. But because we can't develop these resources on our own, we're working with others who share our interest on the research, development, and deployment of advanced technologies. We joined the Low Carbon Resources Initiative led by the Electric Power Research Institute and GTI, a leading research and development organization that is addressing energy and environmental challenges. This is a 5-year focused research and development commitment to create the pathways to advance low carbon technologies for large-scale deployment. In early 2021, we helped launch the Carbon-Free Technology Initiative that focuses on implementation of federal policies to help ensure commercial reliability of affordable, carbon-free, 24/7 power technology options by the early 2030s. We are pursuing demonstration projects such as our hydrogen production pilot with Idaho National Laboratory at the Prairie Island Nuclear Plant. And we are participating in several research studies, including looking at addressing technical barriers associated with blending hydrogen and natural gas infrastructure, and collaborating on the development of new technology for a high performance cold climate heat pump. Our focus on innovation and advancing technology also includes direct air capture, where carbon emissions are removed from the environment. So out to 2050 and beyond, we expect to still have natural gas on the system, but we anticipate using direct air capture to remove the remaining carbon emissions associated with that service. So where are we at so far? So you'll see here in 2005, where we were at in our energy mix, with the renewables being in blue and coal and natural gas being in the gray. And already by 2005, we were at a 21% carbon-free movement. And then in 2020, you see that growth to 47% carbon-free with the renewables definitely increasing, and you'll see solar now in that mix as well. Just another look at this moving forward. 2005, you can just see that red bar continuing to grow. As we get to 2030, we expect 80% carbon free through the renewables with that reduction in coal and natural gas. And then also, as we transition to cleaner sources of energy, we are reducing our environmental impact across the board. So I like being able to show this slide of all of the reductions in these important environmental indicators. So hopefully it's clear by now, under our clean energy vision, reducing carbon emissions is our top environmental policy or priority. But to wrap up, I just want to cover these 4 key drivers to make that goal possible. We need to protect our energy reliability and affordability. We cannot be successful in providing clean energy unless it meets the fundamental customer requirements of reliability and affordability. We need to work together with our states and engage stakeholders such as yourselves, our communities, and our businesses. We need advanced new technologies, specifically carbon-free resources that can be dispatched to integrate high levels of renewables. And we need constructive energy policies that support and enable reliable, affordable, clean energy. And that's why Sarah Barrow is also with us today. She's going to talk about the Carbon-Free Minnesota Coalition and efforts to get those more and more stakeholders on that same page with us where policy is concerned. But that Lee is probably a little bit off maybe what you really wanted me to dive into, but it's the presentation that I was able to grab. I'm happy to take questions, or if you want to go into Sarah, and then we can take questions after she's through.
Well, I'm actually, there's some questions that came up in the chat.
Okay.
One was, how can Xcel Special Carbon Report for meeting its 100% carbon-free goal be found online? And that is answered in the chat.
Oh, good.
Colleagues under your name answered that question with the link.
Thanks, Sarah.
And Heidi Culbertson asked, one common question I get is, how do we do this transition when electric vehicles are less reliable in the cold weather? Same with the heat pumps. Correct me if this is wrong. I am just trying to get it all straight with the pros, cons, and continually hear that even electric buses would be a terrible option in the winter months, which is not exactly pertinent to what you discussed.
Right.
And there are others who are on this that could probably answer Heidi, but if you want to address that.
I cannot address that specifically with my extensive background with Xcel Energy, but I don't know if Sarah has anything to add, or if anybody else. And it's a common question, I think, that's out there, right? But I see Sarah just popped on screen here. Do you want to go ahead, Sarah?
Yeah. First of all, hi everyone. And Anna, that was a great presentation. I learned a lot. I've not heard that. So I think that's something we're going to have to get some more information and have Anna follow up with you, because I've not heard about that issue in cold weather, but it must be something if you've heard about it.
Oh, I see, Anna, or Sarah, you're masking as Anna Thill online.
I wish I could do that all the time. I don't know why that's doing that.
Yeah, that's a whole discussion on cold weather effect. As it, there are some issues. There are also some issues with fossil fuel vehicles. There is there's a lot of, if you just Google that information online about efficiency of electric vehicles and heat pumps and so forth, you can get lots of answers there. Okay, I'll tell you what, there's some more questions, but let's go ahead with Sarah. And then after Sarah's done, we'll just get to whatever's in the chat and what other questions people have.
Sarah, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and allow you to take over.
All right. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get this in the full mode here. What I usually do is not working. Shoot.
Sounds like my life.
Yeah, sorry. 4, 5, it's not letting me. Oh, there we go. Woohoo. First of all, thank you again for allowing Anna and I to talk to you today about Xcel Energy, and her presentation was chock full of lots of information. So if there's specific questions, we can certainly get more information or do a follow-up. I know that Anna did a quick mention of this program. So about me, I am 8 years plus strong at Xcel Energy, which in Xcel Energy terms means I'm still a newbie. There's people, people come to work at Xcel and they stay. There's people have been there there's someone in our group has been, 2 people in our group have been there for over 30 years. So, but I know enough to be dangerous. So when I came to the company, I started in an external affairs role that had been created following the city of Minneapolis's attempt to municipalize in 2013. And then I did my work in the trenches for 6 years as the Minneapolis Community Relations Manager. So after doing that, it's been clear for a long time, Xcel Energy has a lot of respect and in the state, but we constantly face challenges from the left and the right in terms of our, how are we going to get to carbon free, but just every, any kind of program that we're trying to do, or people want to impose mandates or, such and such. And we've never really had anyone standing up with us to say, no, Xcel Energy is doing the right, is going in the right direction. So we created this Carbon Free Future Coalition. I started working on it last September, but it's been in the works for a couple of years to talk to our customers, to talk to communities, leading thinkers, businesses, and talk about our plan to get to 2050 carbon free and get people, and once we explain it to people, we're asking people to sign up to be a member of our Carbon Free Future Coalition. And all that entails is your name and logo on our website, which I'll put the link to the website in the chat when I'm done with this. And so it's pretty simple, but we want to have, first of all, just the names and the logos of people to say, yeah, Xcel Energy is on the right path to get to carbon free 2050. And there's an opportunity to be more engaged. We'll send out action alerts, and if people want to contact their legislators or submit a letter to the Public Utilities Commission on behalf of a specific piece of our 2050 plan. Because it's kind of like, I always say it's like a Jenga game, and you got all these people trying to pull out little pieces, but all the pieces have to stay together for us to get to, for our plan to be successful. So we are rocking and rolling. We started recruiting in, I think, late February, early March. It's been a pretty amazing experience, I have to say, to be out there talking to customers about our plan, because as you just found out, there's a lot going on that you probably weren't aware of. So, just to even, a lot of people just want to know kind of what we're up to. So that's been amazing. And we're asking, like I said, we're asking people if they're interested to add their name to our list. You'll also get, we're going to be putting together newsletters that have sort of insider information or just great. We're looking to do a lot of just 101 information as well for people who have specific questions about energy and anything really. So that's why I'm here, is to specifically ask anyone there or the group together to see if you'd be interested in joining the coalition. We could talk a little bit about whatever that entails for your group, or even, just to give you more information about it, send you the link, and then we can have another conversation about it as well. So that's kind of it for that. I'm going to stop sharing. And again, thank you for the opportunity, and I'm here for questions either.
Okay, there are a number of questions that have shown up, and I'll just get these almost randomly here. Lou Schwarzkopf, who's a member of our board, asks, how can Xcel's special carbon report, oh, we did that one already, sorry. Jody Swanson, also a member of our board, the carbon-free percentages on the Xcel Energy mix, does that include the customer-owned systems like residential rooftop systems?
It does. We factor into our energy mix.
Okay, good. I'm part of that, so that's great. Rich Holzkamp was also on our board, asks, is biogas to pipeline quality natural gas to hydrogen fuel cell on the list of things to do? Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay, so biogas
sounds,
to pipeline quality natural gas to hydrogen. I mean, that's on your list. I think that was covered earlier.
Yeah.
Moving to hydrogen.
I think
And of course, the trick, the trick with hydrogen is whether it's green hydrogen or from some other source that is less friendly. Okay. What, and Constance Lingrich, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name right. What are the current demand response programs Xcel Energy is implementing? Demand response programs. Either one of you?
Anna, do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please.
I don't have an exhaustive list, but one of the, we've done some piloting for what's called time of use to try to give customers awareness of, things that use energy in your home. Try to do them in the evening when the load is lower, or in the early morning, or whatever can be done, like run your dishwasher before you go to bed, because obviously the more we can even out the load during the day, the better the better use we have of more renewables and less reliance on our base load. Other programs that we have is what we kind of call an interruptible rate, and there's a residential and a business customer way to do that, which basically means when the load is really high, like it is when it's really hot or really cold, because we have to plan for the hottest day of the year and the coldest day of the year on our system, that we can sort of interrupt or briefly put those folks on offline so that we can manage the load. I am personally, and I'm absolutely blanking on what it's called, but I have signed up, and you can do it on the website, and you get a reduction on your bill if you're willing to be, like, when it's really hot, maybe the AC gets turned off for like 10 minutes or something like that. I've never noticed it. So that's some of it. It's the time of day. It's these programs where people can get a reduction on their bill if they're willing to help manage the load. Does that answer that question?
Yes. Okay, putting this back on here. I don't know if anybody here have a question in the room? Okay. Okay, it seems to me, with Xcel doing both gas and electric, there is an inherent conflict there. So do you find yourself sort of schizophrenic? In other words, we want to go towards, we want to get rid of all the fossil fuel based energy sources we can. And the so-called, clean natural gas is, that's iffy. So how is Xcel dealing with this internal conflict? Is that a question you can ask?
Anna, do you want me to answer that too?
Yes, please.
That is a really interesting way of putting that. I don't think we see it that way, because, we are going to need natural gas on our system, and we want to use less of it. And the way that we sort of, the bills work and everything, using less does not really negatively impact the company, because it's probably means there's more on the electric load. So I don't think we see that inherent conflict. What we are aggressively pursuing, like Anna talked about, are ways to eliminate the carbon in the natural gas. And we actually are fairly positive about the strategy. We have a whole group that was just created in the company whose only job is to figure out how to do this. And, the hydrogen, which I think, they would actually get some of it from our nuclear plants, using that to eliminate carbon and gas plants. And don't ask me how those all connect, but it's pretty promising. There's a lot of people out there who are way smarter than me who are working on this. So, again, we're confident. We don't know exactly how it's going to happen by 2050, but we're very, very confident that it can be done. Does that answer that question?
Yes. Good. Bob Schaber has a question.
Yeah, Bob Schaber. Does Xcel help people buy panels for the roof, and is it economical, and is it worth doing?
Want me to go?
Sarah, you can pretty much just take all of these.
All right, awesome.
Baptism by fire for Hannah.
Right. So there is a program, and you're talking about solar panels for your roof, I assume. Yeah. So there is a program, and why I'm blanking on the names of all of them is very funny. Hopefully someone else knows it, but I can put some information in the chat. It's a program that at the legislature where you can get reduced panels that we help fund. And I believe they have to be made in Minnesota. So it's a made in Minnesota program. Department of Commerce actually works with us on that. And I can't tell you what the reduction is, but I know that it's a very, very popular program for people to go and use and incent local producers and all of that, and to get a reduction on your solar panels. So I don't think it's all of it, but there is that program out there. And again, I'll find it and put it in the chat real quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that it had gone away, but maybe it has resurfaced.
Well,
Whoever is.
Yeah, it hasn't, because the legislature was unable to pass almost anything this session. It was extending that program was in the omnibus energy bill. So hopefully next year they will extend it.
Sarah, is it the solar rewards program, or is this
Yes,
different?
Thank you, Anna. Yes, it's a solar program. I'm blanking on. I know everything except the names of things, apparently.
I'm on the site right now. I can put that in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, some more questions from the chat. Oh, Brianna Baker, who's also a member of our board, has pointed out that the Savers switch is well worth it. Signing up, it's saving her, it's 15% off of the electric bill in summer months. So I've been on Savers switch for a long time, and I think Brianna also says that, I mean, you really can't tell the difference, and it's odd how you can really save energy in your house. For instance, I put up an awning on actually east facing window, large, next to my, I've got a flat roof over the garage, and since I put that up, I'm hardly running the air conditioning. So very simple things that you could do around your house. I mean, we talk about insulating and things which are more expensive, but an awning, for gosh sakes, just an awning can save a lot of energy during the summer. Another question here.
I saw that about the transmission article in the paper, or is there one before that?
There are some before. Why don't you answer Lou's question about electricity from wind in Southwest Minnesota couldn't be used because of inadequate transmission line capacity. Can you talk about transmission line capacity, I guess? What do we need to do to make the 100% clean energy goal?
Absolutely. That's a huge issue right now, not just for us, but for pretty much all energy utilities, the transmission. I think that when we were adding, we did a large transmission project that was to connect, I believe, the wind in North Dakota to our system. And then, we've been adding all this wind and renewables, and a lot of people have signed up for, to do their own projects. And basically the transmission system on MISO, which is a group that we're part of with 16 other states, is almost full. And so we just got approval to build a transmission line. I want to say it's through, Anna might know more about that, but I believe it's southern Minnesota and a little part of Iowa to connect that wind. It'll take a couple of years, but we're very aggressive about getting approvals to build much more transmission so we can get all of these renewables online, by our goal. And we're confident we'll be able to meet all the goals by building transmission, because it's not just us that's having this problem.
Right. It's like a very congested highway.
Yes.
Everything's standing still. So we need to add more lanes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Katie Wertel asks about storage. She mentioned specifically, using water to store energy, but obviously batteries are coming. And what kind of work is Xcel doing to, for storage, large scale storage?
Yeah, batteries are right now just, they're about 4 hours of storage. And so everyone is working, on that technology. We're involved in several pilots, solar and battery storage to find ways that can, battery technology can be improved. I mean, it's already been improved from what it was 5 years ago. We had a battery in, I think somewhere in Colorado, and it was like as big as a house. I think it's much smaller now. We're running lots of pilot projects to test this. We're confident the technology, again, the battery storage is going to get better. The hot water piece, I've heard about that. And I think that's something that is certainly in the mix. If there's a way, I think that would be amazing if we all were battery storages with our boilers and hot water heaters and all of that. So I know that's in the mix as well. So I've heard a lot of talk about that. So yeah, we'll get there, I think, but batteries aren't perfect either, because there's a lot of issues with what you do with them when they're done. And so hopefully, the battery technology will go much further.
Although there's a lot of work being done now for recycling expired batteries.
Yeah, same with solar panels and everything, but
Yes.
you got to figure that out before you start mass producing them. So, but I think we're confident that we're going to get there, and battery storage will be part of our mix.
Yep. So Rich Holzkamp points out that there is now a revival of the Mountain Iron Lake, Minnesota solar panel manufacturer. So yeah, a lot of the Minnesota manufacturers went under due to the competition from inexpensive panels overseas.
Right.
And hopefully they'll be able to ramp up again.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. I mean, I assume people are aware, or maybe you're not, it's kind of insider, about the ceasing of production of overseas panels due to some research. People have found that other countries are sending out the panels, but they're really being produced in China. And so we have actually taken a stand that we will not purchase any solar panels that have any slave labor attached to them. And we are very, very we do a lot of work to make sure we know where those are being sourced.
Okay. Brianna Baker asks, what are some possibilities for how Xcel will expand conservation improvement program in response to the ECO Act? She says, I'm curious about expanding CIP in general, but particularly the CIP dollars that are required to be used in low income households.
I am not a SIP. For those of you who don't know who's acronym Conservation Improvement Program, I am not a SIP expert. I know that we just got a huge expansion, and yes, some of it is to be used in low income communities. And we have lots of programs and things we're developing around that expanded SIP, but I think that's something we'll probably need to follow up on.
So this program was billed as how you can save money as a business or a homeowner or perhaps an apartment dweller with Xcel programs. And I found the link online of many of those programs. And it's very well done. But if somebody could put that link in the chat here, maybe I will in a second, to find those programs. There are a lot of choices. It's a bit confusing. So do you go with the wind source program? Do you go with the energy saver switch? You can do both because I'm on both. Do you go with the solar rewards program? What are your choices? And of course, for businesses too, to me, that's where we really need to make inroads to save energy. The other question I have is, and this is certainly emphasized by our presenters last month, is if you create buildings and processes that don't use energy, that's the best thing to do. I mean, it may not be for your bottom line, but that's the best thing to do for the country and for the planet. And is Xcel working at all, pushing for clean building or low energy building programs, or on the other hand, are they pushing also contractors and architects and the state to incorporate EV chargers in every new construction? So that's actually two questions.
That's a question and a half. I'm not exactly sure. I apologize what you mean by building. You just mean extremely efficient, LEED, like gold, platinum, LEED type buildings.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the LEED, is one way to do it. But I mean, we know we can build all our buildings to be energy neutral. We can do that. It's there. It's just a matter of cost. So is Xcel involved in this at all? Or do we have another conflict? Is it sort of contrary to the bottom line to save energy? And how do they monetize saving energy?
So again, not a total expert. I will say that we absolutely encourage anyone to build as energy efficient building as possible. We don't make decisions about our bottom line when it comes to what customers want. That's the customer gets to decide, and we work with them. And we have consultants who will, work at the very beginning or whatever point the customer is at to help design a building that's as energy efficient as possible. And that includes things like you were saying, the awnings and the trees. We're building a new building right now in Northeast Minneapolis, and I think it's going to be platinum LEED. I mean, it's, we put our money where our mouth is when it comes to that. So we certainly encourage and work with customers on that point. And what your second question? Sorry.
Well, I mean, it does behoove Xcel to propose and promote putting EV chargers in all new construction. And I think, isn't there something on the books, federal, maybe not state, anybody know, for requiring that?
Good question. I mean, as Anna pointed out with our EV, we are very, very bullish on chargers. And, I can't think of any instance where someone wouldn't want to put in EV chargers. It's usually the number and the level of charging. I mean, I think, and again, I'm kind of speaking from what I think I know, we are looking at putting EV chargers on, highways, rest stops, gas stations, all the places where people actually go and travel. We want, I think that's like the first thing, is to make sure that people can go pretty far and get their car charged, and that there's access, at a rest stop or such. But, it's as far as specific incentives for EV chargers for new buildings, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I
But
think the proposal is not necessarily to put the charger in, but at least make the electrical system capable of carrying at least a 220, 240 volt
Yeah.
system, so that somebody can put in a charger easily, or perhaps a cord. That's all I've got for my car, is a
Absolutely.
240
Yeah.
volt 16 amp cord, and it works fine for my little Prius. So
I am trying to find something online for that, Lee, because when I was at the recharge event,
Yeah.
part of what I was talking about is the incentive for multifamily buildings to
Yes.
install charging and
Yes.
do it from the ground up.
so those of us with homes, it's pretty easy, but we have so many apartment dwellers,
Mhm.
and people who are living in, housing that isn't optimal for things like that.
Yep.
And Brianna Baker, for instance, talks about, her work is in energy efficiency, making older buildings, substandard buildings, more energy efficient.
Oh, sure.
So Katie Wortell asks, what projects or research is Xcel working on to eliminate natural gas from its business? Again, we're getting back into that inherent
Mhm.
conflict. How do you monetize saving energy when you're in the energy business, whether it's gas or electricity?
So I think, we've talked about some of that already, about the decarbonization of natural gas. At this point, again, it's about improving technologies, and the only way you can eliminate natural gas and still have a reliable system would be obviously battery storage and large scale batteries, and, the hot water heaters and all that. At this time, we are anticipating that we will keep natural gas on the system, because again, we have to plan for the hottest day of the year and the coldest day of the year. Whether or not it's there only if we need it. But, when we say we have a carbon-free goal, that means we're going to figure out a way to decarbonize natural gas. And a lot of people are working hard on that.
Mhm.
That's part of collecting those emissions, even though we're going to be using it, right, Sarah?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, yeah.
Decarbonizing it means
Decarbonizing,
eliminating
yeah.
those emissions of carbon and we've already done so much on eliminating lots of noxious gases from our natural gas plants with filters and upgrades and all that. So
Sure.
hard on that.
And of course, the Mankato Energy Center, while it's not owned by Xcel, they're contracted, Xcel contracts from them for all their energy. Xcel did own that plant for a short time, and now it's owned by a company named Onward Energy. So that's a combined cycle system.
Lee, I am putting in the chat the question about Xcel Energy helping build energy efficient buildings. There's a link here that I'm going to put in here.
Okay. And while you're doing that, there's a couple of questions. I'm going to get to Sabri's first.
Okay.
Sabri Fair is a young gentleman, McAllister College graduate, who has come to our area to save us from ourselves. Really, we need about 1,800 Sabri Fairs. Anyway, he says, I'm wondering where Xcel's interests lie in the development possibilities for the Rapidan Dam, which I'm pretty sure you purchased electricity from here in Blue Earth County. If it is demolished, you have visions or ideas of how to make use of the transmission capabilities that are there. And I'm going to answer that because being local, I know the answer. It's not producing energy now and hasn't for several years. And, you know, I have an opinion on what should happen with the dam. But nowadays also we're developing systems for in-stream generators. They should actually put in rivers without having to build a dam. I don't know if that would be practical in Minnesota, but they're beginning to do it elsewhere too. So, and do you have any comments on that? I sort of answered the question for you, but maybe you know something more. Either one of you.
I know nothing about that. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I believe we have a substation there, but outside of having property that we own there, I don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, it's solar is a better way to go
Mhm.
for energy, you know, creating energy and distributing it. Yeah, and Anna put in the link for the constructing energy efficient buildings from Xcel Energy. So that's
Mhm.
excellent. Rich Hoskamp asks,
Yeah.
can I contact a local Xcel rep to walk me through the options of programs and demand control strategies, which I think is a really good question. A lot of stuff online, but what happens if you don't get the answers you need? Can we call somebody up? Can we text somebody? Can we?
I think you can start with me.
Well,
And I'll learn.
I have a question about that. Rich, are you talking about for your business or for your home?
Let's see if Rich is got his microphone off or on. I don't see. There he is. Rich, put your microphone on and answer. Oh, we can't hear you.
Need to unmute. Oh,
He's
there.
on mute. Yeah.
Now am I local, voiceal? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So
Oh, there. I never understand this mute and unmute. And so rural home, small farm, garden operation, an artist studio with a big home. and so now I've got my electric vehicle. I'm going to refurbish my solar system to a larger size. And again, that whole demand control, I added an air source heat pump. And so on that whole electrification strategy, and it's like, okay, I've pulled all this together. Now can I have somebody meet with me and say, okay, let's have you do this, this, and this. Thank you very much.
yeah, there's a couple things. I will actually answer that broadly. One, for you specifically as an Xcel Energy customer, there's something called the Home Energy Squad. And I'm hoping it's in your area because it's a fabulous program where you have someone come out and basically analyze everything and tell you where you can even save more energy. If you're a business, so if you're a business that's, you know, small, not a huge business, we actually have, and again, maybe Anna can find it and put it in the chat. We have a resource group, business solutions group that you can call, and they will walk you through anything, you know, with your business that you can do. And again, Home Energy Squad is for residential, but this group will talk you through as a business owner anything that what you can do. So they're great. And then if you're a large customer that you have large enough to have a account manager, obviously that account manager works with you to save energy. So we have people for all levels that can help.
Well, and because on a residential meter,
Yeah,
as a customer, I always get the sad face on my monthly.
oh,
So I'm in that category.
how is that possible with all you have?
Residential customer, but
Oh my
you
God.
know, it's because you don't know that I've got you know, a residence of 3,000 square feet and a business of 2,000 square feet.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm a sad face every month.
That's terrible.
And as you get to know me, you'll go, yeah, this really is terrible.
I can tell already.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't get a face on mine, but I get a check back from Xcel about 6 months out of every year. Since I have solar panels on my roof and since putting those on, I've been able to even save more energy. So I don't think that's what Xcel wants to do necessarily, but because they're paying me retail for the energy, but it works.
Right. And I just want to reach the net zero goal.
Right.
With the combination, because we do buy the wind resource. So renewable energy wise, accounting wise, yeah, we're 100%. But
Well, eventually we're going to be able to plug in our vehicles into our
Right.
homes.
yeah, yeah, and that's what I want to be ready for. Is like having an EV for a year now. It's like, oh, this is fairly easy, you know, other than the, you know, you have to plan a circle route rather than a recharge route.
Rich, do you have a charger at your home?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
charge it
So
at night?
and we basically, when the car is sitting, it's plugged in at the 8 amp rate.
Yeah, if you charge overnight, you're basically using wind energy. Just so
Yeah.
you- and the lowest rate. Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So,
But I don't have that included in my bill as that lowest rate. And that's one of those like, okay, well, okay, rather than, you know, from a charging standpoint, or my latest electric bill was adding everything together and dividing by the kilowatt hours, I'm paying 18 cents per kilowatt hour. And so, yeah, including a demand control strategy, both with my air source heat pump and the car, I would think would be a good thing for Xcel.
sure. So we've discussed a bunch of things along here. My question always comes is, you know, most of us have this interest. I mean, we do, we're here, either online or in this room. But out there in the real world, there's the great unwashed or unaware, driving huge honker SUVs, big pickup trucks, not turning off lights, not converting their lights to LEDs. How do we get to these people? Anna and Sarah, how does Xcel get to the regular, you know, Minnesota, Colorado, Wisconsin American citizen?
Right. Anna, do you want to take a stab or you want?
You know, as a customer, I'm used to getting those kind of communications directly, right? So here are all I mean, we have a lot of programs to take advantage of to help you save and to be more energy efficient. I don't know that there's a lack of us trying to communicate, but maybe there is. And maybe Sarah, you can answer more, but
You know, we are always looking for ways to
yeah.
educate customers. You know, our TV ads are all about, you know, you go to our website and learn how you can be more energy efficient. We attend or have booths at hundreds of community festivals, you know, parade, whatever it is that we sponsor. You know, the only thing we have there is how can you save money? Like if you go, we have this little tiny house that we bring, you know, you walk in and, you know, so we're always looking for ways, you know, to communicate to customers. And I think if there are people like you, which there's a lot more of you than you think, you know, they will take advantage. But to me personally, it's about getting people to care. to, you know, even like you were saying, you know, there's a lot of people out there who just, they're like, they don't care about using less energy. I mean, you would think they would because they're paying big bills, but, you know, I think part of what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do is get out there and talk to as many customers as possible. You know, and then we have, you know, we have Facebook, Twitter, we have all the things that you need, but yeah, if anyone has great ideas about how to get to that, Joe, we're open, right, Anna?
Right. And I do think our work with the communities, as more and more communities are getting engaged in this work. I mean, Northfield is really engaged. And I think that the more programs that they try to implement that just can infiltrate the community more on an individual business and home level as well. And then I see Jody just mentioned getting into the schools and getting into our kids and wanting to care as well. Maybe they're going in and shutting off the lights after their parents leave a room or something.
Well, that's interesting. Does Xcel have a program to go into schools and educate?
That's a good one. I know that we're trying to, even this summer, get into, there are camps that are going on, and we're going in to talk about, and you know, electric vehicles are kind of the sexiest thing out there for kids right now. And so we're in there talking about those things. But I don't know, I'm so new, Sarah, maybe you know of other specific programs to educate kids.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have some programs. I mean, really, it's a resource question. You know, if a school asks someone to come, we'll go. We'll go. But, you know, I have confidence people like Sabri, this generation is so much more focused on that. So I think awareness is definitely going up and people want to do something. But yeah, I think for the schools, it's like, if you ask us, we'll come in, but we can't proactively reach out to every school. We just don't have enough people that could do that.
Yeah, it depends upon, you know, who's at the school. So some schools have great teachers. I mean, they all have great teachers, but some have teachers specifically, like Eric Kozer at Mankato West, who's got a great program going there to help out and do these things. Okay.
I can help answer that question. Having been on a consortium with utilities and technical colleges. So that is out there in terms of, again, their primary objective is employees, to get an educated workforce out there. But the other end of the Xcel programs has primarily been the K-5 programs. And that science hasn't really developed for the junior highs and the high schools yet. From a support from Xcel standpoint, but that's a big project.
So getting on another angle, what would happen if Xcel or the state or somebody provided free energy audits to everybody who was in their territory within the state? Would that work?
Well, we do have programs for low income folks.
Yes.
And, you know, reduce energy audits. I'm not sure how that would work. I mean, you know, we could use SIP dollars, I suppose. I mean, that would be nice. I mean, it's not very expensive to do it. And there's programs for basically interest-free financing if someone needs to replace all their insulation or something like that. But, you know, we always have to keep in mind the dollars we spend are shared evenly amongst our customers. And so it's hard, you know, we constantly, you know, struggle with a community who wants to do something special, you know, but everyone, it's like community solar gardens. Some people benefit, everybody pays. And so we're really about being equitable and protecting customers' dollars. And the city of Minneapolis for about a year did put some money forth to pay for all home energy squad visits within the city. So I think that's really a community question of values more than we could just suddenly, you know, because we also do it with CenterPoint. So it's not just us. You know, whether or not we could do something like that. I think we would struggle with that.
And Heidi Culbertson asks, have you tried local public health? And I imagine maybe there's a talking about working with public health officials and communicating about how to save energy and save money. I assume that's what she means.
Yeah, I think again, that's a community by community approach. I certainly, if there's something we could do and we're all about partnering. So, I don't know of any specific, I can't tell you any specific examples. Maybe you have some, Anna, but I think it's a good idea.
I'm not familiar.
I can chime in a little bit just with some experience from what people in other parts of the country have done. So I work for our community action agency in the weatherization assistance program. And, the weatherization assistance program is moving a little bit in the direction of connecting health even more with the energy efficiency work that we do. So a lot of us energy auditors and quality control inspectors are now getting certified as healthy home evaluators also. And there are a few places throughout the country where some people in a position like mine are also employed by hospitals or by state asthma programs to really connect those things. That the whole idea that a more energy efficient home is really closely connected to a safer home. And I think especially the asthma program connection is really interesting to me just because there's so much overlap there. So I don't know that that's a specific thing that could be helpful to Xcel, but to Heidi's point, there are some places in the country where that connection is being made really specifically.
That's great. I pass that along. I pass up the chain of all the feedback and questions that I get when I'm out and about. So, and Anna does too. So we'll definitely pass that up. I know in the city of Minneapolis, that's happening. The person who worked for the health department is now also going to oversee the sustainability piece, and he's brilliant, and happens to also be the mayor of Hopkins. And so I think that's great to know. Thank you.
So it's 10:15, and I want to make some announcements here, at least one. We will not be having a forum next month. We're going to take August off, and so that everybody can kind of take a deep breather and then move forward in the fall. Having said that, what I would like to hear from Anna and from Sarah, maybe concluding remarks before we call it a day.
I was just wondering if I'm going to get invited to future forums.
I think you're on our list.
Good.
Put you there.
Oh, good. I would enjoy being part of the group, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. And I learned a ton just preparing. So thank you.
Yeah, this is great. I absolutely love doing these types of forums because it's great to know what's on people's minds, almost anything for me personally. And again, Anna, could you put the link to the carbon-free future min website in there? I think it's just carbonfreemn.com. I do urge people to think about, being part of this coalition so that we can get to 2050 carbon-free, without sort of distractions on either side. We need customers to stand up and say, yep, Xcel Energy's got the right plan. I want to be part of it. So that's just, I'm throwing that out. That's my job. So I have to, if anyone wants any more information on that, please reach out to Anna and she'll get to me, and I'm happy to go anywhere, do a presentation to anyone, talk about it. So just again, thank you so much. This is very, very interesting, and appreciate the opportunity.
Excellent. I want to thank also South Central Service Cooperative for hosting us here, both Zoom and in person, and Karen Stoll, who's out in the lobby. She's making sure all the technology works right, and that all the furniture stays in the room. We don't leave with it. Okay. Any other final comments? If not, let's call it a day, and we'll see you in a couple of months. South Central Minnesota Clean Energy Council. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
It's a wrap.
It is a wrap.
The discussion is great.
Yeah, it's always a little difficult on Zoom.